When studying philosophy, my experience tells me that we should be historians, actors, and golems. In this video, I will again answer the question based on my experience and my thoughts on the matter. So, if you're already interested in philosophy, then that is already a win. However, to many of us, starting might seem quite confusing. How does one actually start studying philosophy or learning philosophy? What should I read? Which authors? Which works? In what order? This matter, to me, was the most confusing when starting. However, I also considered another approach which to me seemed equally, if not more important. And this is what I would like to talk about first. It is my opinion, and not only mine, that philosophy is not just about memorizing what other philosophers have said, or memorizing their philosophy and their way of thinking. In fact, if we talk about this and only this memorization approach, I would not even consider it to be studying philosophy. This might just train our memory skills, but it will certainly not train our philosophical skills. And this is the point. To me, philosophy might be more of a skill than a series of so-called facts. To me, it might be more of a way of thinking or approaching life or existence than just being able to quote a certain philosopher by heart. And I'm not saying this is not useful in our philosophical study. I will get to that. But I think this is where a lot of teachers get it wrong. And this is a common misconception that makes people have little to no interest in philosophy. They just focus on knowing what this and that philosopher said. As I said, when I started, I knew that studying other philosophers was important or maybe even essential to my philosophical study. But I never thought this was the end of the story. Questioning everything I learned, debating or refuting ideas, creating and developing my own ideas, and again, questioning everything, both the ideas I learned and maybe even more importantly, my own ideas. This was, to me, the other essential part of the study, developing and questioning my own ideas. I might even dare say that this is, to me, what is the essence of philosophy. However, I do think that studying other philosophers is essential to our understanding of our current reality. So, how to approach these two matters? When studying other philosophers, at least at the beginning, I think it is essential to do it in a chronological order. There are certain people which are considered to be the first philosophers because of their way of approaching our understanding of reality. From them, the next philosophers took many ideas, and so the history of Western philosophy is heavily influenced by these first philosophers. Of course, ideas evolve, and new ways of understanding have been proposed. However, most, if not all of Western philosophers either take certain ideas from previous philosophers or heavily criticize them, and from this, their new understanding is proposed. So, just to give you an example of what I mean. Alfred North Whitehead, a mathematician and philosopher, once said something like, European philosophy is basically just a series of footnotes to Plato. So based on this, if we really want to understand, say, Kant, Nietzsche, Camus, or any other philosopher born after Plato, which was a long time ago, then we should really know what this guy says. I might do another video explaining what exact order I followed when I approached my first philosophical texts, so let me know in the comments if you would like to see that. For now, let's move on to the next point. When reading any philosopher, I think one should really approach the text as having a conversation. It is here that we should kind of follow Gollum's way of thinking. Follow what?
Yes, follow my way.
Okay, I can't really do that, but let me explain before you think I'm crazy, though I might be, but there should always be two voices in our head. The first voice should be the one of the author, and we are the ones that are responsible for recreating it in the best way possible. So, some tools I use for recreating this voice are always, and I mean always, take into account the historical and cultural context in which the author lived and in which the work was written. This is essential to understanding what the author meant and why he actually meant it. I think one should never approach a philosophical text without taking into account the historical and cultural context. This is why, for example, reading the Iliad might be a great aid to understanding ancient Greek philosophy. So, another reason why I love studying philosophy is that I very often end up studying art, and I've found that by gaining appreciation and understanding in philosophy, I gain that too in art, and the other way around. By studying art, I also get a deeper understanding of philosophy. And that goes for science too. I mean, some of you may know I'm a physics student, and so to me, science, philosophy, and art are just parts of the same thing. So to me, growing in one is essential to growing in the other two. But that is for another time. Applying this historical and cultural approach combined with a little bit of acting, and I think we might have a powerful approach to a philosopher's ideas. What I meant by acting is that now that we have some context, including maybe even some biographical context of the author, we should try to get into character and recreate the voice of the author himself. In this sense, ask ourselves, acting as the author, why would I say this? And why should this make sense based on all the previous context that we've studied? And then debate these ideas in our heads. Try to attack them and refute them, and then defend them as if we were the author himself. And here is where the second voice comes into play. Based on our knowledge, understanding, and our interpretation of reality, question if these ideas that the author is proposing make any sense to us. These are the two voices that should constantly be debating in our head. And I think we shouldn't give any preference to any of them based on anything else than which one makes more sense. We should attack both views with everything we've got, and then compare them and see which one of them holds best. In this way, I think we would be exercising what I called our philosophical skills. So, to sum up, I do think it is essential for us to study other philosophers throughout history for us to have an understanding of our current reality, and do so in a chronological approach. When studying them, it is not about memorizing, but about understanding and being able to bring back the character of the author into life. We should be a little like Gollum and have two different voices arguing in our heads. The first voice we've recreated for the author, and the second voice should be based on our understanding of reality. And these two voices should constantly be debating to see which ideas hold best. There are several other tips and tools that I've gathered that help me through my study of philosophy. For now, though, I think I've mentioned the most essential, with the exception of one thing which I think is a topic for another video. I think this video is long enough already, so I'm gonna stop here, but I hope you found it interesting and helpful, and if you did, please let me know by leaving a like. And so what is your approach to studying philosophy? Please let me know in the comments. If you've enjoyed my videos, I hope you will consider to subscribe and share, so that I know I should keep on doing them. And for now, thank you all for watching.